want to make sure you check the expiration date. This is an example of a home COVID test that I have, Binax Now. This is a popular one. On the back of the test, there is a little label here. It gives the expiration date here, but also when you open up the box for this particular brand, the testing materials also has an expiration date that they list here as well. You want to make sure you check that expiration date and that you do not use an expired test, because it may not give you accurate results. Guys, today we are talking about 7 mistakes you don't want to make when testing for COVID at home with a home testing kit, okay? All right, next mistake is the storage of these devices, actually. There is a temperature at which they should be stored. The good thing is right on the box it says, so right down here, this one actually says store between 35.6 degrees and 86 degrees Fahrenheit. You might say, okay, not a big deal, and you're right, it's not a big deal. It's kind of room temperature. But if you live in extreme climates, if it's super, super cold where you live, don't leave this in the car because it could get colder than that. Or if you live in hot places as well, just sort of keep that in mind. Don't put it in the freezer is what we're trying to say here. So keep in mind the storage temperature. That's super important. By the way, guys, I'm Dr. Jen Caudle, practicing family physician, on-air health expert. All right, let's go to number 3. Oh, by the way, number 3 is inside the box is you're going to get your components, okay? Packets of things. You don't want to reuse any of these components, meaning, you know, it's kind of like one and done. When you do the test, when you've used the components, you're done. You don't want to reuse them, obviously, for obvious reasons, okay? Not only hygiene, but accuracy and all that good stuff. Don't reuse things. All right, number 4, let's talk about how you actually use the test, all right? And by the way, every different test that you guys get, Binax Now is not the only one. There's many tests on the market that are okay to use. This is just to remind you of things to look for on whichever brand you get. The storage temperature, the expiration date, etc. Also on the inside will be instructions on how to do the test, okay? This is super important because if you don't get a good sample, you're probably not going to get a good result, or rather an accurate result for your test. So this particular test shows you how far to go up on the nose. Guys, this is super important. Okay, these tests, you don't always have to go way back up, which is good. You can sometimes be on the more anterior nose area, but either way, your test will show you how. Make sure you read this stuff. And by the way, I'd recommend, it seems like a lot of information here, but they do give a lot of information with these tests. Make sure you try to read as much of the information as you can, because it will help you, okay? All right, number 5, mistakes that people make that we don't want you to make. All right, let's also talk about the age, right? There actually is acceptable and approved ages for who should be using these tests. Something that you may not think about, but it's not for everyone of all ages. Now, it's close. This particular test, Binax Now, says if you are 15 years old or older, you can self-collect your sample. You can do it yourself, put the swab in your nose yourself. What it also says is, or adult collected nasal swab samples from people 2 years and older. So if your child is younger than 15, but 2 or older, an adult can help get the swab, get the sample, and do the test. This is actually in the instructions. See, I got it underlined. It's actually in the instructions that came with this box. So you want to look for the ages that your test is used for and who should be doing the sampling depending on the age. All right. Number 6, by the way, is how often to do a swab. And I've done videos on a negative test doesn't necessarily mean you have a negative result. This is the thing. If you're negative, it's still possible to be infected. And look, if you have symptoms, I've said this before, if you have symptoms, you need to have a high index of suspicion for being positive for COVID. You need to isolate, and you need to perhaps call your doctor, but certainly retest, okay? The CDC says that you need to or should consider repeating 2 or more tests over several days, at least 24 hours between each test. Binax Now actually has an instruction sheet that came in the box. It says you can test twice over 3 days with at least 36 hours in between tests. You see there's a little bit of variability. One was the CDC's recommendations. That's a general recommendation. The other is what is on the information in the box of the test that you get. The most important thing to keep in mind, though, for you guys is that if you are negative and you've got symptoms, you probably should consider retesting again, and you want to separate that in time. Follow the instructions on the box of your test kit, okay? And then the last thing is less less of a mistake that people make. It's just sort of more motivation. It is often hard to get these tests, we know. I just want to keep you guys encouraged. Stay persistent, stay diligent. Keep looking out for the tests. Don't hoard them when you can find them, but certainly share the wealth in terms of letting other people know where you found tests and things like that. And hopefully as time goes on, we will get more and more tests. So guys, I hope this is helpful. Let me know in the comments which tests you've used. Let me know if this video was helpful. Let me know what's going on in your life if you have COVID. A lot of people do. Guys, I'm Dr. Jen Caudle, practicing family physician, on-air health expert, and video creator. For those of you who have not liked and followed my page, I invite you to do so. Also, consider joining my groups called I Got the COVID Vaccine and Dr. Jen Superstars, my subscription groups. For those of you who send stars, I respond to you personally. Thank you so much. And for those of you on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel and clicking the little bell for updates. Guys, I'm Dr. Jen. I'll see you soon. Bye.